Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to this transmission. Here I would be using the tarot cards, auto reading, auto writing, and I would also be talking about the intense energy that was sent to me so that I can relay this message for the benefit of all those who resonate with it. If you don't resonate with anything, you can scrap it. So let's get started and let's dive deep into this one. Whosoever's energy I'm going to talk about today is these cards came out on its own. So I'm being shown that you are negative and disappointed with your life's previous experiences, and you are not ready to accept any of the upcoming opportunities. However, there's also a positive card over here, which is Seven of Wands, which is telling me that the reason why you're upset or disappointed is not a wrong reason. I can also see that there are other people in opposition of you, but you are someone who is very protective. Whenever you have been attacked, you were harassed or you were blamed for things that you never did, blamed for the wrong reasons. And you are someone who has worked on creating a strong defense system that can help you grow as a person. Also, there are some kids playing outside my house, so in case you hear any sounds, please ignore. Uh, that's a good thing, positive energy, happy kids. So whosoever I'm channeling, basically, you need to understand that on this planet, people are never going to be 100% in agreement with you. There will always be somebody or the other who will not like you, or who will oppose you, who will speak negatively about you, or who will react negatively towards you. And no matter what you do, even if you're doing the greatest work on this planet, there will always be somebody or the other who might show up in front of you with that dissatisfaction, with that frustration sometimes, if it's a little more intense. You have to understand that these people are those people who cannot be who they are. They cannot be real. And you are actually being yourself. So, the more you be yourself, the more you are going to show to other people that they are not being themselves. Even if you are saying the correct thing, even if you're doing the correct thing, even if you're living the right way, I mean, it's not going to happen forever. Like when you find your place and when you have taken up that strong step, and after that you're busy with your work or busy with your projects or busy with your life or whatever you're doing, there's a phase. In between all of that, there's a phase, there's a bridge that you need to cross. In that phase or on that bridge, when you're crossing over, you will meet people, or you will just not just meet new people, they could be your own people, people you've known for so many years. They're going to suddenly stand up and say, hey, we don't like what you're doing, or what's wrong with you. Basically, they don't want you to be yourself. They are going to behave like they've got some kind of authority over you, you know, and that authority, something they project on you in a negative way, because they are like, this person is doing something in their real essence. This is their real essence. Like if you're a flower, you being a flower, you blooming as a flower is the most natural, real thing for you to do. Becoming your real version, becoming the real you is not easy. It's a step by step process, and there's a lot of inner work that goes into it. And when your Kundalini rises, it's not something which is in your control. It just happens. One fine day it happens. Maybe you're living in a household where everybody eats meat and you're the only person. Suddenly you shift. One fine day you shift and you say, tomorrow onwards, I'm not going to eat meat, or from now onwards, I'm not going to eat meat. I don't want to be a part of this bloodshed food. It's a trauma food. There's a lot of trauma in it. Or this industry doesn't care for the beings who are being served on our tables. And in general, you feel, I mean, it's your opinion, it's not the right thing to do. You feel scientifically also it's not correct, and you have 100 other ways. Your brain, your mind is giving you 100 evidences that make you feel like you can't do it. So you are 100% sure that the path you have chosen for yourself, or the lifestyle you've chosen for yourself, is the real lifestyle for you. Maybe not for them, but for you it is. And you sometimes try to convince them. You also want them to be happy. And for you, doing something like this or changing when you are surrounded by other people who have been living their life in a certain way, when you suddenly shift, you cannot go back to being that old person. Like if someone is going to tell me today, go back to being that child who was eating meat regularly with her parents, with her family members, I just cannot do that. I just cannot do that. It just cannot happen because you cannot go back to being that version of you. And this is something you try to explain to them. But when we try to explain to them, once again, we are saying that there is a higher authority, which is not a right authority. It's not the correct, because your inner authority is connected with source. That's the higher authority. That's the real higher authority. And that higher authority is telling you that whatever you have chosen now, which is also happening naturally to you, is the right path. But the others who have still not awakened to this knowledge, they still have certain programming patterns. They cannot get out of it. They cannot see. Their third eye has not opened that much. And I'm not saying it's bad or it's wrong. Sometimes nice people also eat meat or they drink alcohol. Um, they have some work to do. So we don't judge them. We say, okay, this is your choice, it's your life. But when these people start forcing you or opposing you or start bullying you or start nagging you, then that's the time you're going to think in your head, like, why are they doing this for me, to me? And I'm just giving one example. This is a normal example. There comes a time when it doesn't affect you at all. So this can apply to a lot of other things, a lot of other ethics you have, values you have, lots and lots of other notions you have, which for a normal materialistic person would sound crazy. It would sound stupid, maybe. And if you are surrounded by that energy way too much, it's a toxic environment that you're in. You don't have to constantly discuss these things, explain these things, talk about it, because you're going to talk about what you really believe in. Like if you sit with an alcoholic, the alcoholic is constantly going to talk about alcohol, right? If you're going to sit with a tea drinker, a tea addict, they're going to talk about tea all the time. But if you're going to sit with an ascensioner, like most of us are, we're going to talk about metaphysics, we're going to talk about the mind, we're going to talk about true love, we're going to talk about the animals. As per this transmission, I can feel that energy that whosoever resonates or whosoever has figured it out, you have realized that you got to be yourself no matter what. No matter what. Now, some of you might say that, well, I'm not even doing anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not coming in their way. I'm not like troubling them or whatever. Still, why do I face all these opposition, or why do I face all these negative talks or instances? So, the thing is that you're basically acting as a reminder. As I said, you are reminding them of their incompetencies in some cases. In some cases, they disconnect with source. In some cases, if the world is against you, you're reminding a lot of people that they are not walking on the correct path. And you are, if all of this sounds a bit like too negative, then for those who have advanced a little bit more than this, then you're reminding them that they're not being themselves. They're not at their natural best self. They are not being a natural expression of universe, a natural creation of source. They are acting like the programmed version of them, which is not the real version of them. And this reminder kind of irks them, annoys them, and you are doing it so well. So there are stages of it, and by the end of this session, you will figure out all of the stages, how it starts and then how it proceeds. So for some of you, this can be a timeless reading. You can save it. Every time you feel that you're stuck in a situation like this, you can listen to it. And some of you who feel that you actually want to do deep cleansing work, you want to get purified more, and you need hand holding for that, you can get into one on one therapy with me. And you can also get into a personal session with me, which may not be like therapy, but it can act as an energy booster for you. So, here we see that you have achieved a level of clarity and you have a composure that allows you to evaluate your steps, your behavior, your reactions, your responses, and even your choices. And you want to make more positive decisions. It's not going to stop till here. You want to keep moving ahead. You want to keep succeeding. And some of you have also realized that this life of inner work, it's too precious for you. And you're okay to let go of certain things materialistically. You're okay to sacrifice certain things because you know that one day you're going to die physically. Although you are eternal and you exist, and if you exist now, then that means you always exist. So you're always going to exist no matter what happens to the physical body. Okay. But you know that this physical body and all of the attachments of the physical body, popularity, name, fame, money, this, that, whatever comes to you naturally and organically, that's best for you. If God wants you to be popular, it's okay. If God doesn't want you to be popular, it's okay. If God wants you to be super rich, it's okay. If God wants you to be content, it's okay. I mean, I'm going to look at all the positive things right now. So, whatever is happening in your life, the way you're living, you are very much content with it. You're happy with it. Yes, there are days which are hard. Yes, there are challenges that you have to face. But overall, you're happy with the way things are going. Now, when these people make you feel that you're wrong or something is wrong about you, even though you're doing absolutely normal things, you're an awakened being, you're living as an awakened being. Sometimes I think it disturbs your peace. Maybe it makes you cry. Maybe you wonder what's wrong with them. Sometimes you've probably struggled so much in the past that you actually sit and think and you compare your life with someone who didn't have to struggle so much, especially for the things that you had to work through, like you had to do a lot for achieving some basic things which they had so easily. So sometimes we can get into comparison mode, and comparison mode is also very low frequency, low vibration thing. That's the time you need to understand that maybe you are in that comparison mode, or maybe you're feeling bad about the way your life has been because you still have the negative memory of all those events, all those situations where you were opposed, where you were told you're not good enough, where you were not supported, you were boycotted, you were ignored and neglected as a part of their punishment. You were punished, so you feel that why you had to go through all of that. So there is still some residual energy from that, coming from that, which you need to heal, which you need to give away. It has to dissipate away. It has to dissipate away and turn into nothing. Because you've already transmuted that energy. You are either in the process of transmuting it or you've already done it. So why keep that burden? Why feel bad about it? In case you're talking about it to others, like your experience, like your story, you're not sad, but you're just sharing what happened to you, then also God wants you to be very conscious and aware about it that whatever happened with you was amazing, was good, was fine, and it had to happen because there's a lesson involved. or there's something that you're contributing to. So if you remember that, then it's okay. Then you can talk about it, or you can talk about your life as something which can inspire others who are very negative, who are very low, and they are thinking in their heads that how are they going to get through to it. And you tell them, well, I went through this too, and I had to deal with all of these things, but here I am, and I'm doing fine. Look, I'm also able to contribute. You would also be able to do that, and just be yourself. Simple. By being yourself, you are actually doing a great service to the community that you're catering to the people you're catering to, whether it's one person, whether it's more than one. By embracing your softer side, by embracing your energy, by embracing your experiences, by embracing everything that God has made you, you are allowing yourself to explore the emotions, your genuine emotions. And when you listen to your intuition and you follow inspired action, you follow all the things that naturally come to you. It's almost like flowing with the movement of nature, blending in, you're blending in. It becomes your strong suit. It becomes a very strong part of your personality, an immovable one. And by doing so, you're actually serving other people. If you don't be yourself, everybody is creating drama. In Hindi, we use the word kalesh. People are doing so much kalesh around you. You don't like that kalesh. And you're like, why are they doing this? All of this drama, just because I want to be myself. Still, you should be yourself. Even if they are doing kalesh or you have to do it, still do what's right. Because you're actually helping them in many ways. In time, they will know that whatever you're doing is correct, was correct, or is correct. In due course of time, you will actually inspire these people. Via your lifestyle, your choices, you are showing these other people who are currently stopping you, or currently they are against you mentally or emotionally, or maybe verbally also. In physical ways, also, they're acting that they're against you. You're giving them a window of opportunity that it's up to them. It's free will. It's up to them. They can choose to be like you. Because at some point in time, you were also like them. You were living with them and happy with them, and you all were vibing together. And one fine day, you changed. Boom, that change happened in your life. So you started growing. It was pre written, it was predestined to be like that. They did not, and they cannot see your prerogative, your point of view. It's okay. You keep doing what you love and you keep being yourself. That way, you are actually volunteering to Mother Earth. This is the reason why it is said that people who are in the twin flame ascension journey, I think everybody who is in the ascension journey is working on their masculine and feminine imbalances. So, logically, I mean, it's just the way words are used. Most people are in the twin flame ascension journey. So, you are balancing that distorted masculine feminine energy that societal conditioning has given to people. People didn't ask for it, but it was done that way. And maybe it was also part of plan. Not maybe, it is actually part of plan. The earth is going through a certain process, and why the earth goes through this process of time changes, yugas, golden age, dark age, this, that, because earth is a school. It has to remain the school that it is. It has to continue to be the platform that all souls need for ascension. A certain type of energy is created when people do inner work. And that's how the vibration of earth is not only raised, but it's also maintained. Because earth plane is some place, such an amazing place, that every divine being is looking at. Everybody is playing a part over here. Everybody. So everyone is contributing by maintaining a certain vibration. So now that the earth is transitioning, the earth is growing into a different type of earth, from three-dimensional reality to five-dimensional reality. This is a great time and a great place, right now, especially for people who want to contribute and volunteer. such a great thing you're doing, such a great job. So just by being yourself, it could be anything. It could be you feeding a cat on the street. It could be you helping someone to heal from their pain. It could be you singing a song. Like nobody in your house sings and they think singing is something horrible. They prohibit you from singing. But you say, okay, I'm going to sing. I'm going to do this any which way. So you create an energy around you because that's your authentic energy. You're being authentic by choosing to do something which comes naturally to you. I know this can be a bit scary for some people for some time, but when we don't do what we are here to do, we also take away the opportunity that we are otherwise supposed to create for other people also. So we are taking away their opportunity also. Whether they opt for it or not, that's their free will and that's their divine timing because everything happens via divine timing. But by playing your part and expressing the truth about you, you are basically going to show them the path sooner or later. Sometimes people get very triggered. When you tell them the truth, when you express yourself to them, they get very triggered. You know why? Because they cannot do that as of now. They cannot express themselves the way you can. They cannot speak for themselves the way you can. Maybe they want to do exactly what you're doing. Maybe they want to be exactly like you, but they cannot be because there are other things that they need to take care of. And those other things sometimes could be their way of escaping from their own selves. So when you are such a strong, huge banyan tree in front of them, it can trigger them. Even if whatever you're telling them is for their good too. It's not just for you, because you've already experienced certain things, but you're telling them, or you're just being yourself. You're not even maybe telling people, do this, do that. No, you're just being yourself, but it triggers them. So they react in a certain way. Some people are really afraid to be themselves. They are very, very much in fear because of the way the society functions. The way society has been training children, it's a very negative way of training little kids. They carry these huge bags every day. They are being taught, programmed to carry baggage on the shoulders since such a young age. So they carry these heavy bags, or they are responsible for certain things as a child, and then they go to the school, they meet these other kids. Some countries have changed it, but it's still there. Then they have to compete against one another in a negative way because the competition puts them on certain type of pedestal, which is actually telling them, reinforcing this thought over and over again. Maybe the first time it doesn't, but second time, third time, fourth time, first year is fine, second year is fine, but it's reinforcing that idea that, okay, that person is better than you and you're not because you didn't score these many marks. And you might say, so what's bad in, putting people through a test? Of course, it's not bad. Everyone gets tested. But putting people through test or training people for things that turn them into slaves of their ego and their mind, that's not the right thing to do. I mean, what are these kids competing for? What are these kids giving examinations for? It's not to become a moralistic human being, or it's not like they're teaching them ethics or they're teaching them something, some life skill which can actually help them. They're teaching them to get a job after 16 or 17 years. After 16 or 17 years, that's like so far away in time. And what is that job going to do? It's going to provide them security, financial security. But if you train the kid to become secure, to feel like a secure person, if you put the kid in an environment which makes the child feel loved and secure. So, most of the people who are not able to experience true love in their life is because as a child, they were not taught about that. They were never shown how to love, or they were not loved in the correct way. Either they were too pampered, so they became codependent, and that's why they have so many addictions. Either they were totally neglected and ignored. In both ways, these different children can be good or bad via getting them trained in certain skill sets or certain type of, like math, science, English, there's that kind of subjects, and then making them take some more courses, masters or PhDs or bachelor's or this that, some kind of diploma, some kind of system, a paper system is created, which also is not that great actually, because everybody cannot be at the same level who has these degrees. Like all the people who have done masters or PhDs not necessarily have the same IQ or the same level of intelligence. So they don't want to be yourself because they, all of them are trained, they are trained to ignore their intuition, they're trained to not trust their gut, they are trained to just follow everybody else without asking any questions, because they were taught, the kids were taught in childhood, don't ask questions, don't say anything, just don't make noise, don't play, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, I'm not saying discipline is bad, we all must be disciplined. Discipline is a good thing, we must be disciplined to feel good about ourselves. So in this society where everybody is getting this type of programming, either divine interventions fix people, or some kind of calamity can fix people, some kind of a loss can fix people, or simply an ascended person can change other people. Like this really nice channeling also came to me, where the feminine monad basically has ascended and surrendered to source, and she only wants to love source. And due to this change, this major shift, the masculine has surrendered to her love because her love is very pure and he doesn't want anything else. Before that, he was materialistic, and before that, she was also scared because she didn't want to step out of this whole consumerism or materialism based world. So, both were loving each other, but in a toxic way or in a distorted way. So, either they are running or they're chasing. But eventually, when she surrenders to source and starts looking for that love within and eventually finds the love within, the masculine on the other side, who's literally like a mirror, has no other option but to show exactly the image that's in front of the mirror, because the mirror cannot create the image, the mirror can only show the reflection, right? So if I'm frowning, if I'm sad, if I'm crying, and I'm standing in front of the mirror, I cannot expect the mirror to show me a different image. The mirror is going to show me the same image. But if I smile, if I wipe off my tears, dress up well, and smile and stand in front of the mirror will not have any other option but to reflect back the same smile. That's how reality is. That's how inner work is. Now, all these people who are creating a sort of negative energy around you, lack of acceptance, lack of validation, instead of seeking that validation and acceptance from them, if you actually go within and look for it within and accept who you are 100%, even if there are naysayers, even if there are negative Nancy's around you, you still say, all right, I don't care, I'm just going to be myself because this is who I am. Simple. It's not a delusional thing. You're doing it because of God. And I always say source integration is the right way to figure out what is your natural self. Because in today's world, sometimes the programming is so intense, it's so intense that people could be doing certain things thinking that it's their natural organic self, but it's not. And then 20 years later, they regret it. 20 years later, when they've lost so much, they realize that, oh my God, that was not even real. So we got to be very careful sometimes. Now, whosoever these people are, they can also rebel against you. They can show their dissatisfaction. Sometimes they can gang up against you, or sometimes it's just one person who is making you feel you're not good enough or you're not doing the right thing. Perfect card, two of swords. So you are literally at this stage, even in the transmission, whosoever resonates, you are at the crossroad and you represent both the blocked emotions and the unwillingness for some people to see the truth, and at the same time you have the opportunity to remove the blindfold for yourself as well as for the reflection or reflections. And it's very clear that there's nothing really that they need to fight for, or nothing really that's bad. There's no polarity actually. It's the same. It's one love. All of this resentment is coming from them because they are coming from a negative state, the illusion, the Maya. But the more you continue to be yourself, the more authentic you become, slowly and gradually, it all starts going away. And of course, compassion, love, acceptance, and source energy, because these are all qualities of source. And we are exactly like our source. Source is created from the same speck of light. Source is the same speck of light from which we are created. So we are, of course, the same speck of light too. Therefore, the more unconditional love and acceptance and letting go and forgiveness and having 100% faith that no matter what's happening with you, no matter what bad situation you're in, everything is happening for your good. Everything is eventually going to be fine. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. It's a part of the process. It is your lesson. The more faith you have, the more letting go you do, the more love you bring into your energy, to your system, sooner or later, those people are going to figure it out. I mean, it might take time, which is okay. Time also is a very abstract concept, and it totally depends on the way you observe it. I mean, if you continue to count the number of years or number of months, then it's going to be like a huge deal. But if you look at the process and the churning and the results and the joy you feel and the peace you feel, and as I can see, you're being yourself. So the more authentic you are, you continue to realize that wow, this is so amazing. So then you don't really see time how they teach you to see time in the calendars, in the months, and in the clock. I mean, for people who are natural, they just know sunset and sunrise and moonlight. They work according to that, the full moon and the no moon, and they know that time is totally irrelevant in many cases, because when things change and when people figure it out, when they have transformed and then they look back, it all looks like a beautiful divine experience. Eventually, these people who are opposing you or seeing something wrong in who you are, not able to digest your authentic self and acting all bossy and authoritative and acting like they just know it and you don't know it, and with all the bullying and with all the ganging up, eventually they will get tired of it. They can't do it because it's too negative, and it causes people to fall sick. It causes people to go through some experiences which only they know. It's very personal to them. So with all of that drama, eventually they will not really be able to carry it forward. Because when you continue to still shine, they will be shocked. Like, we did all of this for her. We opposed her, we said no, or we made those faces, the faces typically people make, or those sounds they produce, or the groaning and all the moaning and all the no, this is not right, blah, 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 whatever, what I'm talking about, right? So then they realize that despite all of this, the sun is still shining and the moon is still glowing. We cannot do anything about it. That's the time when they begin to look at that window of opportunity, something which is for them too. They start to question, can I also be this happy? Or can I also be this healthy? Or can I also be this content? Can I also be this surrendered? Can I also be like this person? Maybe I can be. Because what they're living, I don't know what drug they're on, but definitely I call it the Ram Nam drug, the Ram mantra, the solar plexus mantra drug. It does wonders to people. So they're going to think that, is this drug also going to work on me? I mean, my great grandmaster says that it's not just about chanting or reading the scriptures. It's also about being of service to other people. That is equal to you taking God's name. You thinking about God and you doing God's work is literally the same thing. So, no matter which part of the world you're in, as long as you're just being yourself, you're just being really beautifully authentic, you are doing God's work. You are taking God's name, you know. So don't stop yourself from being who you are. If you have landed this particular session, then this could be your synchronized message. It could be a sign for you to continue to walk on that path, and also be of service to others, and also create that opportunity for other people, so that in future or whenever they are ready, they can make that choice, which is definitely going to benefit them, because you know it's benefiting you, so it's going to benefit them also. And otherwise, you know, there are so many demonic agents who are doing the opposite of what you're doing. They are showing people to walk on their path. They're making people to walk on their false propaganda based path, so that they all can be a part of the big hellhole that those agents already are a part of. So, on this note, on this information, on this informative note, I'm gonna sign out from this particular session. I will see you in the next one. You can also get my book, In the Name of Love, A Journey of Finding Your Ultimate Soulmate. The spelling of love is LUUV. And the book is written on the concept of biomimetic mimicry, which helps people to learn via reading, to feel the high vibrational energy via reading through the stories. And you can also become a Patreon. I want to thank all the current Patreons and current members of whatever channels I am active on, whatever work I do, and all the other work that I do. If you guys are my patrons, you guys are here right now. Thank you so much for being you, and thank you so much for doing the inner work. I will see you in the next video. One love, peace out, and Vichitram.